this, we got the word for word, and we got the translation. Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever part you want. And once you go through all that, then
I just press this.
yeah. Okay. That goes forward, that goes backwards. And then
Speak into here.
yes. That's kind of right up one of the legs.
Like a mridanga or kartal. I think I could play it. Maybe I'll play the mridanga. Sure. Thank you. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So today, or this evening, we'll be reading from Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17, Text 28. So it's here on the board. So if you could please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so if you could please repeat after me again. Narayana Parasarve Nakutashchana Bibyati Svarga Apavarga Darkesh Papitul Yarta Darshana Narayana Parasarve Nakutashchana Bibyati Svarga Pavarga Narakesh Papitul Yarta Darshana Narayana Parasarve Nakutashchana Bibyati Svarga Pavarga Narakesh Vapitul Yarta Darshana. Okay, please chant. Anyone else like to chant? All right. Please repeat after me. Narayana Para. Pure devotees who are interested only in the service of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarve, all. Na, not. Kutashchana, anywhere. Bibyati, are afraid. Swarga, in the higher planetary systems. Apavarga, in liberation. Narakeshu, and in hell. Api, even. Tulya, equal. Arta, value. Darshanaha, who see. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. Do we have the purport? Oh, purport's not there. Okay. Can someone look it up on their phone, this verse, so I could read the purport? You have it? Okay. Okay, purport. Parvati, everybody knows who Parvati is, right? Yes, the wife of Lord Shiva. Parvati might naturally have inquired how devotees become so exalted. Therefore, this verse explains that they are Narayana Para, simply dependent on Narayan. This is Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva speaking, by the way. He spoke this verse. They do not mind reverses in life because in the service of Narayan they have learned to tolerate whatever hardships there may be. They do not care whether they are in heaven or in hell. They simply engage in the service of the Lord. This is their excellence. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. They are liberally engaged in the service of the Lord, and therefore they are excellent. By using the word Britya Brityanam, Lord Shiva pointed out that although Chitraketu provided one example of tolerance and excellence, all the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord as eternal servants are glorious. They have no eagerness to be happy by being placed in the heavenly planets, becoming liberated, or becoming one with Brahman, the supreme effulgence. These benefits do not appeal to their minds. They are simply interested in giving direct service to the Lord. Gopal? Thank you, Gopal. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your flute playing as well. It's playing flute in the kirtan. Oh, very nice. Om Jnanativanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmalitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karidavachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yak Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kapadribisha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is an amazing verse in the Srimad-bhagavatam glorifying the nature of a devotee. And the nature of a devotee is that they do not care if about going to heaven or going to hell or merge into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. They just want to serve Krishna. That's their main qualification. Just like we see in the case of the gopis of Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada really appreciated a particular story that he would tell. And sometimes devotees put this on as a drama. So the short story is that Krishna, he had a headache. And the way that the headache was to be relieved was that he said he wanted the dust of the feet of the devotees so he could put it on his head. And this way his headache would be relieved. So Narada Muni, he went to so many different devotees and they said that I cannot give you the dust of my feet. It's a great offense. That was their immediate thought, and then they didn't do it. I'm sure everybody remembers, or someone remembers, why. Why didn't they want to give the dust of their feet? Yeah, because if they gave their dust, the dust of their feet, to Krishna, and then Krishna puts it on his head, then they'll go to hell. That was the idea. Now, of course, in the Vaishnava theology, our hell is not eternal. It's a temporary place. But still, who wants to go there, right? Hell. So they didn't want to go to hell. But then, Narada Muni, he went to the gopis, and he said, Krishna has a headache. And the gopis said, well, how can we help? And Narada Muni said that Krishna wants the dust of the feet of his devotees, so he could put it on his head and this way relieve his headache. And the gopis said, yes, immediately take it. Take all of it. Do not hesitate. Quick. So then Narada Muni, he was a bit surprised because everybody else was saying, no, I'll go to hell. But the gopis were immediately giving, so he was surprised. And then he told the gopis, aren't you concerned? Because if you give the dust of your feet, aren't you concerned that you may go to hell? And they said, that's okay. we don't mind going to hell. We don't mind going to hell as long as Krishna is satisfied. Then we're happy. So this is the example that they don't mind going to hell as long as they could serve Krishna. So how does this verse exactly come up in the Bhagavatam? Because we're hearing it's a glorification of the devotees in general, but how does this verse come up? In what context does this verse come up? The context is that Chitraketu Maharaj, one great devotee of the Lord, of Krishna, he was traveling on an airplane, a mystical airplane. He's also like a yogi traveling. And he happened to come across Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was doing something he thought was a bit strange or out of the ordinary. And what Lord Shiva was doing is he was sitting there with his wife Parvati, and Parvati was on Shiva's lap and they were embracing. And then Chitraketu Maharaj, he saw this and he started to laugh. And he spoke in such a way as Parvati could hear and Shiva could hear. And there were also great sages there. There are all these great sages sitting there. And Lord Shiva was there and Parvati was there. So Chitraketu Maharaj, he went on to say that how is it that Lord Shiva is sitting like this embracing his wife? She's sitting on his lap, they're embracing each other. How is this in front of all of these sages? Now, Chitraketu Maharaj, he wasn't offensive in the sense like Daksha Maharaj in the 4th canto. Daksha is the father-in-law of Shiva. So Daksha was just outright offensive towards Shiva, and he had to pay for that. But actually, Chitraketu Maharaj, in his mind, he was thinking that Shiva is such a great personality, I don't want ordinary people seeing this and thinking ill of him, thinking of him in an offensive way. And furthermore, I don't want ordinary people seeing him and thinking that this is okay to do. Of course, nowadays I don't want ordinary people seeing this and thinking it's okay to do. So it wasn't that he was outright offensive, but he did laugh, and he did speak in such a way as for Parvati and Lord Shiva to hear. So Lord Shiva, understanding the mind of Chitraketu, and the sages also understanding the mind of Chitraketu, they remained silent. And Lord Shiva actually smiled because he understood he was doing this out of respect for me. Lord Shiva was thinking this. But Parvati, she heard this and she got really upset. And she said, who does Chitraketu think he is? He thinks he's better than Lord Shiva. He thinks he's better than all of these sages who are not correcting Lord Shiva. Who is this upstart? He thinks that he can control his senses better than Shiva. He's proud. And Srila Prabhupada does write that simultaneously he was respectful toward Lord Shiva, but there was some pride there simultaneously. So then what happened is Parvati, she said to him that I curse you. And she said, I curse you to take birth in a low sinful family, specifically in the family of demons, as a demon. I curse you to be a demon. Which later on in the Bhagavatam we see Vritrasura. He's a demon, like externally, his body and so on is a demon, but internally he's a great devotee, Chitraketu. And also it's written in the section of Bhagavatam, this was an arrangement of the Lord, of Krishna, to get Chitraketu back to Godhead quicker. So actually, Krishna in the heart inspired Parvati. So there's a lot of things going on at the same time. Simultaneously, he's respectful toward Lord Shiva. Simultaneously, there's some pride, and simultaneously, Krishna is making the arrangement. So then Chitraketu Maharaj, he comes down from his airplane, and he bows down to Parvati. He says, "My dear mother," and she addressed him as her son. She said, "I accept your curse." He didn't fight. He didn't say, "Actually, I respect Lord Shiva." He didn't say anything. He just said, "I accept your curse." And then he got on his plane and then he left. And at this particular point, Lord Shiva, then he started to glorify the devotees of the Lord, of Krishna. And this is where Lord Shiva writes this verse. He says that the devotees of the Lord who are completely dedicated to Narayana or Krishna, they're not fearful. They do not care for the heavenly planets merged into the Brahman effulgence. They do not care about even going to hell, as long as they could serve Krishna. And that example is Chitraketu Maharaj. He was cursed to be a demon. I mean, that's really bad. So it's a wonderful verse. And we see that in the lives of devotees that they are fearless. For example, we have Srila Prabhupada, and very telling, his name when he appeared, Abhay Charan, means fearless. Fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada when he was in Dallas one time, one young man asked him a question, quite challenging. He said, "What do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna?" There was a lot of people in the room. It was a public class, and the man said, "What do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna?" And then Srila Prabhupada, he responded quickly, and he said, "I feel fearless." So this feeling of fearlessness is very important, and it's something that the great devotees exemplify. Just like when Srila Prabhupada was a young boy, they were making that, what is that called? Victoria Memorial, Queen Victoria in Calcutta. They were building this huge, multi-story building. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was walking there one time with his disciples, he told the devotees that when I was a young boy, I climbed all the way up on the, with all the bamboo and all of that, and somehow he climbed up while they were constructing the building. And then the devotees were quite surprised, and they said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you must have been very fearless when you were a boy, or else how could you do that?" And then Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes, I still am fearless, or else how could I come to your country all alone at an advanced age?" So Srila Prabhupada exemplified this principle of fearlessness. Also, when devotees established a murti of Srila Prabhupada, like we have our murti here and we have the murti on the altar, the idea is that people, generally, gurus, they don't do that when they're physically present on this planet. Because the idea is that so many people are coming and they're touching the feet of the murti, and in this way there's some sinful reactions being transferred. So one South Indian Brahmin, he came to Srila Prabhupada in India, and he told him this. that I understand that you're doing this, you're putting your murti here, and people are touching your feet, but you must understand that you're going to have to suffer for this. And then Srila Prabhupada said something very interesting. He said, yes, that is why I have come to accept people's suffering. In other words, he's come to give his life to absolve people of their suffering. That's a guru principle. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's very special in that regard. So if we look at the mood of Srila Prabhupada, for example, he has a disciple, Harikesh. Harikesh asked Srila Prabhupada about his mood. He said, "Are you in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj?" It's an interesting question, good question, and I'm glad he asked that. But he said, "Are you in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj?" And then Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes, I'm in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj." And he said, "I'm always trying to deliver these conditioned living entities in this material world." Now, if you look at Prahlad Maharaj, he comes in Chaitanya Lila, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Krishna, come again 500 years ago. We have this nice portrait here of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu behind us, behind you. So he comes in the mood of a devotee to Srimati Radharani to teach us how to become devotees, how to chant, how to dance, how to be a devotee. And he has so many associates, so they come with him. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, it is explained that Prahlad Maharaj came in Chaitanya Lila. And Prahlad Maharaj, he came as Vasudev Dutt. And Vasudev Dutt was an extraordinary devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vasudev Dutt had a very unique desire. And he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that my heart is paining seeing the suffering of the living entities in this material existence. So my desire is that I take all of these living entities, their karma. I take all of their karma. Whatever bad things they've done, I take all of those sinful reactions and I put them on my head. And even if I have to go to hell and live there perpetually, I don't care, as long as they're delivered. Now, we could imagine just taking the sinful reactions of people here in where are we? Miami. Yes, we could imagine. Just think of Miami. How many people live in Miami? 8 million. 3 million in Miami. So just think about 3 million people. Just try to think about 3 million people, just for a moment. And just think about all of the bad karmic things that they're doing. You know, Miami is also known for some type of place of enjoyment or partying or whatever, which we would categorize as bad karmic reactions. So just think about 3 million people, all of the intoxication, all of the meat eating, whatever, on and on and on. So there's a lot of karma. Now, Vasudev Dutt was thinking not just 3 million people, but he was thinking the whole world, actually. And he was saying, I'll go to hell, no problem. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this, and he said that, oh, Vasudev Dutt, he said, your humility is breaking my heart. Actually, you don't have to do this. You don't have to suffer. He said, I will free all of these living entities, and I will take them back to the spiritual world, and you don't have to suffer perpetually. So that's what happened, actually. Now, it's interesting, one point, because as Srila Prabhupada was saying, he's in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj is known for his compassion. Vasudev Dutt is also known for his compassion, which is Prahlad Maharaj. There's a clear connection in terms of the mood. So we're connected to a very merciful personality, actually, Srila Prabhupada. Those who take shelter of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, those who take shelter under Srila Prabhupada's movement, they're in a very special place with a very merciful, the most merciful personality, actually. So the idea is that we should try to take advantage of the mercifulness, take advantage of the gifts that Srila Prabhupada came to give us. We have the beautiful temple here, we have beautiful deities, we have the association of devotees, and we have so many wonderful things. So we should try to take shelter of those and in this way become liberated. And also try to give that out to others. It's not very difficult to give the mercy of Krishna out to others. For example, I was coming here to Miami, flying from San Diego, and my first flight was delayed. I got on the plane at 10 p.m. at night, and I was sitting there for 20 minutes, and they said, "Delayed, we're going tomorrow." So I went back to the temple, and then I got on the plane the next morning at 10 a.m., but on going to the plane, in the airport of San Diego, there were 3 persons from the Middle East, actually I think 4 men from the Middle East, young men, and one of them said, "Oh, I like your haircut," and I was dressed like this, and they said, "Are you like a monk? Are you spiritual?" And I said, "Yes." And then I asked them, are you from San Diego? They said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Where are you going?" I said, "We're going to Hawaii." I said, "All right." So then they asked me some questions. "Can you give us the basic principles of the philosophy?" I was running really late. I mean, the plane was going to leave, within like 10 minutes or something. So I didn't have much time. So what I did is I just said, I gave them a book. I had a book with me. I gave them a book, and I gave them an invitation to the San Diego temple. And that's all. That's very easy. Somebody asks you, and you just give them a book. You give them a book, you give them a flyer, that's all. I know devotees who drive Uber. They have their books in the car, and they give books to people. So there's different ways. If somebody asks you, "Oh, you seem to be very peaceful, you seem to be very happy, what's your secret?" You say, "Well, I chant Hare Krishna, here's a book." And invite them to the temple. So we could try to extend the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as far as possible. So these are some thoughts on the glories of devotees, how they're fearless, how they're compassionate, how they do not have any care for their own salvation, but they just want to please Krishna and try to help others. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes. I could repeat your question. And your name? Radha Madhava? Okay, nice. Huh? Oh, okay, Radha Ballabha. Okay, nice to meet you, Hare Krishna.
warning signal to keep us away from the situation that will make us go down our Krishna consciousness level. So fear is good sometimes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Being fearless is wonderful, but for the person who is practicing, they will experience situations where things like simple things like, Vaishnava Prabhupada, even the Sadhana Prabhupada, things like that. It's a very simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they get some of those for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to actually be in a situation where we can utilize the fear in the service of the Lord by improving our consciousness. Alright, and so basically, now I have one more.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, simultaneously we should be fearless, and simultaneously we should be fearful, too, same time. Srila Prabhupada said about his American and European disciples, specifically, he said, the problem with my American and European disciples is that they do not fear Maya enough. So, in other words, the illusory energy, or Maya, or illusion, is very strong. And devotees should fear Maya. They shouldn't get too close to Maya, to illusion. And that means different things for different people. Yeah, it means different things for different people. Somebody's Maya is not attractive to another person's Maya. Also, we should fear offending devotees. Yeah, that's very important. Out of pride, if one thinks they're superior, if one thinks they're better, if one thinks they can disrespect Vaishnavas for whatever reason, that's considered offensive. And specifically Vaishnava aparad, offending devotees, it puts our devotional career on halt. It stops it. Our plant, our creeper that's growing, that Vaishnava aparad, it dries it up. They also say it's like the mad elephant offense. The creeper, the bhakti creeper, the plant of devotion that grows in our heart, that produces the fruit of love of Godhead. If we offend devotees, it's like a mad elephant coming into the garden, just trampling that creeper. So we have to be very careful. Therefore, we have to be fearful. We don't want to commit offenses towards the deity, towards prasadam, towards devotees. So we're fearful, and we're also fearful of Maya. But simultaneously, we're fearless in the sense that we do take risks for Krishna. We do within reason. We take risks within reason for Krishna. And if we're not sure what risks we should take, we could always check. We should check with the spiritual master, with other Vaishnavas. Is this the proper risk? Or is this, for example, actually to enter into university and to try to explain God consciousness in the religious department and so on, and preach in the academic world is actually a risk. Many people, they enter into that place and they say it is agnostic, but actually it's atheistic, the universities. They enter there and they try to preach and they try to spread Krishna consciousness, but they get preached to, and they give up Krishna consciousness, or they have some doubts, and it happens. So, of course, that doesn't happen to everybody. If somebody's strong enough, then they could do it. So that they have to check, what type of risks they should take. So, yeah, we're fearful and fearless, so both. So.
Now you say that saints and saviors, when simple people accept to take shelter of them, they absorb their power. So, like Srila Prabhupada, when he gave initiation, he always got a little sick. The thing about it is that Krishna consciousness is in such a transcendental level that it eradicates the suffering. So, devotees in that case devotees are fearless in going out to preach because they know that taking shelter of Krishna will ward off all the sinful activities.
Yes.
In that way, they have a right to fulfill.
In that way, what?
They have a right to become fearless.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so devotees, teachers, or people accept the position of guru, they accept people's sinful reactions, so on, but Krishna consciousness is so powerful that will absolve them of those sinful reactions, so in that way they can be fearless. Yes, thank you. Is there another question? Or comment? Can you hold it close? Yes, good one. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, also Srila Prabhupada was asked about Maya, about illusion, and devotees were saying it's so strong, which is true. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya dharatya mameve prapadyante maya me tam tarantite, that this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me, Krishna says, can easily cross beyond it, beyond that energy. So he was asked about that, about Maya being so strong, this particular energy that covers us and puts us in ignorance, and we forget Krishna, and we think we're our body, and we think the goal of life is sense gratification or whatever. So this kind of illusory state. So he was asked about this, and Srila Prabhupada said that, yes, Maya is so strong because your determination is weak. So in other words, we have to strengthen our determination, and we're able to go through so many obstacles. So I think Gopal had a question?
Yes.
But I think the mic's coming to you.
I read somewhere, I don't remember what of the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada, he says that the devotee, he has a special quality, like the devotee, like Krishna, for example, also like the devotee, they have quality. You can see a person when it's in the mood of passion or in the mood of ignorance or in the mood of darkness because the behavior, how they walk, how they talk, how they smile, everything. So, in this age of Kali, there is somewhere that says something about demons, like because in Krishna consciousness, everybody is chanting Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada said that this chant can be happy, so everybody. So, it is possible the demons also become changed.
The demons could become devotees?
Yeah, like change the quality of talking, moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada told his disciple one time, Tamal Krishna Goswami, he said, he told him that he had a dream. Srila Prabhupada had a dream. And in the dream, Srila Prabhupada said that there were a bunch of devotees chanting Hare Krishna. With kirtan, Hare Krishna, chanting. And then Srila Prabhupada said that in the dream, the non-devotees, they were becoming devotees. Or the non-chanters, they were becoming chanters. So the non-devotees, they started to chant also. They joined the kirtan party. And then Tamal Krishna Goswami said to Srila Prabhupada, "Oh, did any of the non-chanters," Tamal Krishna Goswami asked Srila Prabhupada, "Did any of the chanters become non-chanters? Did any of the devotees become non-devotees? In other words?" And then Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh no." He said, that's not possible. He said, their names are already written down, going back to Godhead. So, yes, the non-devotees can become devotees. That's the whole idea, right? With Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're making the lowest of the low into lovers of Krishna. So yes, that's very possible. Yeah. Any other questions? Can you hold it closer? Oh, I know Bhakti Sam. Yes. 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 Feel that you're the soul and the body? And the body? Oh. Yeah. Well, Srila Prabhupada explains that the soul, we're the soul, and the soul animates the body. So in other words, from the soul, consciousness is dispersed throughout the body, and therefore you feel because the presence of the soul. Once the soul's gone, in the body, there's no feel. Well, the soul goes to another body, physical body, yeah, or to the spiritual world. They get a spiritual body. In terms of trying to convince people scientifically of the soul, Srila Prabhupada, he set up the Bhaktivedanta Institute. I think it's here in Florida now. But he did that for a very particular reason, and one reason is that he knew that these people aren't going to hear from somebody who doesn't know how to speak their language. They have to speak from a scientific, with the language and all that. So sometimes it's actually better service just to let the scientific devotees speak with the scientific people, just because, we may not be scientists, and that's fine. And even when the scientific people, devotees, speak with the scientists, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be convinced. You have in the Bhagavatam, I think it's in 11th Canto, how Krishna himself, he's the one who gives the intelligence within the heart for all of these people to make up all these philosophies. And Krishna gives them faith, because that's what they want. They want to forget, so there's so many paths to forget. Ultimately, the idea is that through continuous suffering and, in this world, that people get they wake up and they think, okay, let me turn towards Krishna. But those are some. Yes, sir? They're passing the mic to you.
So I would say the soul is like an energy. So the way the air, we cannot see the air, right? So the balloon, you put the air in the balloon, so the same concept go with the body. So it's like the energy, you cannot see it, but you can bloom it. You can bloom it with the exercise, with meditation, connecting with the name, so that just stuff, they are gone. There are 4 parts of human consciousness. So jap means affirmation. So the cup means meditation. There means sympathy to any animal, any human being, any species. That jap dia dam. Dam means donation. Donating. It's not about money. Donating your good morals, your positivity to go this cause. That's the way your soul gets another consciousness.
Thank you. Yeah, you remind me of this Bhagavatam verse where it says that just like a tree provides shade, fruit, even when it's cut down, it's used as firewood, so many things the tree is used for. So similarly, it's an example that one should use whatever they can for the benefit of others. So in other words, if somebody has money, they should give money to the propagation of God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. If one has intelligence, they should utilize that. If one has whatever it may be, different things, whatever skills they have, they should try to use. So, yeah, thank you. All right, any last question or comment? Okay, all right, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Now we have prasadam in the dining hall over the temple outside. Thank you.